Weight loss is hard, but you know what makes it even harder? Nobody tells you that you're going to have to say goodbye to who you used to be. They don't talk about that part. The grieving, the identity shift, that weird sadness that just shows up when you're actually making progress. But that was the piece that changed everything for me. Hey, I'm Carrie, and if you're new here, welcome. I've lost 200 pounds, and I'm still on my journey. But I'm not here to talk about macros or meal plans or workouts. I'm here to talk about what's actually underneath the struggle to lose weight. And today, that means that I'm talking about grief. Yeah, grief. Because when you lose a lot of weight, when you really change, you don't just lose the pounds. You lose parts of yourself, and if you don't know how to deal with that, you'll keep going back to the body, the habits, and the life that felt very familiar to you. So here's what happened to me. I was about 100 pounds down, and I should have been flying high, right? People were noticing, my clothes were fitting better, I could move easier, I was feeling good. I mean, really good. But then this weird thing started happening. I would look in the mirror and I would feel so disconnected. It was like I didn't even recognize myself, and not just physically either, but emotionally. So like, where did she go? That version of me who used to hide in really big hoodies. You know, where was she? The one who never went to the pool even though I loved to swim and be in the water. The one who was always behind the scenes doing things for everyone else but never let herself be seen. She was gone. And a part of me really missed her, which also felt very wrong. Because wasn't this supposed to be the goal? Like, wasn't I supposed to be happy? But instead, I felt a little bit lost. And here's the truth, and no one told me this. When you've used food to cope, when your identity has been wrapped up in being the fat friend, and in case you didn't know, yes, that does exist, or even the one who's always known to be starting a new diet, when you've built a whole life around comfort and protection and just survival, actually losing weight means letting go of all of the things that held you together, in a way. And even if those things weren't good for you, they were very familiar and they felt very safe, even if they were slowly destroying you, like they were me. So yeah, of course it feels weird to leave that behind. It kind of can be like breaking up with a toxic relationship that still gives you comfort. There's relief, but also loss. You don't just lose weight. You are going to lose coping mechanisms. You definitely lose excuses. And you lose layers, both literal layers and emotional layers. And then suddenly, you're standing there like, who even am I now? And listen, I know that sounds dramatic, but for many of us, especially those of us who have carried a lot of extra weight for most or all of our lives, that version of us is all we've ever known. She's been our shield, our protector, our reason for playing small. And when she starts to disappear, it can feel like part of you is dying, because in a way it really is. I remember the moment it really hit me. I was cleaning out my closet, and for some reason I was not just holding, I was clutching this old oversized sweatshirt that I wore every single day, or almost every day. And honestly, it was ugly. But it felt very, very safe. And I was standing there and I was holding it, and I just started crying, just bawling my eyes out. And it wasn't necessarily because I missed wearing the sweatshirt. I could have thrown it on and wore it extremely baggy. But it was because it symbolized a version of me that I was finally letting go of. The one who didn't believe she deserved to be seen. The one who thought being small and quiet and hidden away was safer than being bold, and visible. I was grieving her. And you know what? That grief needed to happen. And here's the thing. I didn't even realize that that's what it was at first. Like, I didn't know I was grieving. I just knew that something kind of felt off. I actually thought I was messing up again. I really did. Because around that same time, when I was feeling all these weird heaviness and emotional strangeness or weirdness, I just stopped losing weight. I didn't gain anything, but I stayed at the exact same number for 6 straight weeks. Every single time I stepped on that scale, it was the same number week after week. And yeah, most people would say, oh, that's just a plateau. You need to switch things up. But I knew deep down, like, I really knew that that wasn't it. Because I wasn't doing anything different. I wasn't overeating. I wasn't slacking off. I was still following my plan and still showing up for myself every single day. But yet nothing changed. Until something clicked. I realized I'm not stuck because of food. I'm stuck because I'm grieving. And I know that might sound a little woo-woo. I get it. Like, how could feeling feelings be the reason the scale doesn't move? But I swear to you, once I let myself feel it, once I acknowledge that part of me missed the old version of who I was, once I gave myself permission to be just a little sad and letting her go, the weight started just coming off again. Like my body had been holding on, like almost waiting for my heart to catch up. And when it did, everything else just started moving again. Because once I acknowledged it, once I stopped pretending I was only supposed to feel happy about changing, I started healing. Okay, so back to it. In case you might not know, here's what grieving your old self might look like. Feeling unexpectedly sad when you're still making progress. Missing old routines like late night snacking because they brought comfort to you. Or feeling socially awkward now that you're more visible. Realizing that your relationships are changing because you're changing. That one was big for me. Resisting success because it feels unfamiliar and scary. That one, also big for me. This doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It means that you're shedding those old identities and you're leaving behind a version of you that got you through some hard stuff. And that's not nothing. That deserves compassion and deserves space. Most people sabotage themselves right here. They feel weird about success. They miss the old comfort. They feel guilt for leaving behind their former identity. So they slide back. But you don't have to do that. You can grieve without going back. You can feel sad without giving up. And here's what helped me. I wrote a letter to myself. I thanked her for what she did to survive and for carrying me through trauma and for doing her best. I know that sounds strange, writing a letter to yourself, but it does help. I created a vision of who I'm becoming, not just my body, but in my whole identity. I imagined a version of me who is strong and visible, kind to herself, and unafraid to take up space. And I let myself feel everything. Not every weight loss win has to be a celebration. Sometimes it just needs to be a pause, a breath, and even some tears. But the truth is, you don't just change your body when you lose weight. You change your story. You change how you see yourself, how the world sees you, how you show up in your relationships, at work, in life in general. And some people won't like it. Some parts of you won't like it either, but that's okay. Letting go of who you used to be doesn't mean that that person was bad. It just means you're finally making room for who you were always meant to become. So, comment below. Have you ever felt grief in the middle of your weight loss journey? Not just about food, but about identity? I would love to hear your story because this isn't just about weight loss. It's about reclaiming our lives. And I'm here for you. And until our next conversation, thank you for being a part of my journey and allowing me to be a part of yours. See you later. Bye.